I spoke at the Global Compact meeting in Geneva the other day. McKinsey had presented their studies, and McKinsey's study on the Global Compact can help accelerate the learning process in addressing environmental, social governance, ESG, and help turn enlightened self-interest into a practical reality. But a practical reality for whom, if you don't recognize political economy? Here's a former Minister of Finance. Every time I said to him, Palestinian refugees, not within my remit. You're a former Minister of Planning, not within my remit. Well, within whose remit, for God's sake? I remember visiting the Baqa refugee camp in the early 1970s, and there was a pile of excrement, shit, ladies and gentlemen. And this representative of one of the politicized Palestinian movements dressed better than I could ever dress. I've never prided myself on my sartorial abilities. Said, we want to know the real reason behind this visit. I said to him, can you see the flies out there? He said, yes. I said, can you tell me the difference between a Jordanian and the Palestinian flag? Now, do you want sewage or don't you want sewage? So everyone told him to shut up. We have to rediscover the emotions of the senses, to contact real people and to speak in real needs. Can we restructure the globalization process so that we can restore justice to development? And I recommend to you Helena Kennedy's wonderful book, Just Law. We praise Kiva and the Grameen Bank rightly, but as Rahman Subhan, my brother-in-law, once said, and one of the founders of Grameen Bank, can we envisage those who receive loans from the Grameen Bank and BRAC, the poorest of the poor, becoming major shareholders in the Dhaka stock market, let alone compete in McKinsey's level playing field? As Ashok Khosla said in alternative development programs in India, as Tasneem Siddiqui said in the Kachi Abadis in Pakistan, we have to take people beyond sustainable development. We have to encourage their talent. And this is why I thank the Scholar Rescue Fund, which I visited in New York the other day, for the contributions they're making to rescuing scholars, not least of all Iraqi scholars, who otherwise would be frustrated and destitute. So interconnectedness, ladies and gentlemen, is what I'm talking about. I would like to point to the contradiction between building down of national borders through globalization and the building of high and hard national walls in the name of the war on terror. I would like to say that new ideas need to be introduced and inserted into our current discourse. When I say building down on national walls before the Ambassador of Israel sends his report, I'm not talking only about the wall, the divide, but I'm also talking about demining. Apparently we Jordanians have been very good Boy Scouts and demine everywhere. But I thought that demining was about two sides, not only one side. I know he agrees with me in his heart, but he has to give me a penetrating stare. We know that a number of people are strongly opposed to global multilateral governance. But I would like to suggest to you that unless we start to think multilaterally in this region of the world, we are going to continue to be managed unilaterally. That's, after all, how it all started. The end of colonialism, the end of mandate. We celebrate our independence, 60 years and 62 years. Independence from what? From British mandate. Now what is that British mandate? Was it colonialism? Was it imperialism? And what are we celebrating exactly? We can only celebrate when we break out of the cycle of terror. Atrocity, shock, fear, pain, grief, anger, bitterness, revenge, revenge and retaliation. If you want to make a difference, just remember that we have to look for signals of peace, and I'm quoting Jim Wallace, or signs of transformation. That is to say, non-violent opportunities for creative solutions. We need to become more comfortable with ambiguity. I know everything is considered to be black and white if you're sitting behind a desk thousands of miles away. But when you come to the region, we are born of generations of dissimulators. We are professional liars. In Arabic we say we talk dugri. So don't come from the United States or London or Norway and tell me how to think. We need to accept more of the generative as well as the destructive power of conflict. And we need to be more aware of how we can utilize conflicts to transform processes and institutions in a constructive fashion. Look at what the OSA has done in Budapest, the Open Society Archive. Every single heinous crime, from Stalin through Ceausescu, is registered. Here we do not have a register of man's inhumanity to man. So we assume the dialogue of ugliness exists, which it does, but we don't base it on empirical fact. So how can you move to analysis without a knowledge base? How can we counter the pessimism of realpolitik without a reality-based optimism? And this is why I call on you to develop a reality-based optimism, step by step. All parties to the conflict, no matter how powerful, powerless, official or unofficial they are, including corporations and banks, have a right to be involved in the solutions of their own problems. Either that, or you stay within the confines of your own walls. We have to reiterate the moral dimension of problem solving. That's why we're here. Whether you like me or you don't like me is not really my concern. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about those suffering millions out there. We have to practice civility in our relations to be able to communicate with each other. Problems and conflicts must be dealt with as early as possible, which in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, means peace and security has to become everyone's business. And so the poverty we're trying to eliminate is not only the poverty of the pocket, it is the poverty of the mind. Poverty is the poverty of the mind, and richness is the richness of the spirit. That is the longest distance in the world. Let us try to take a step